Okay, guys. So Leonard Cohen died, and we had fucking Donald Trump. Can we at least positive thinking this program at least once?
Oh, hang on! Don't get me onto that positive thinking notes just yet. All right, let's segue into that slowly. Don't peak too early, mate. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
No worries. Okay. Cool. So let's start. Here we go. By the way, so nobody has alcohol. You said, Carl, that you don't want to have alcohol on this show.
I would have loved to have alcohol on this show, but today is one of the very few days I could think of where I really couldn't have any alcohol because my whole face may swallow up and I would turn into the elephant man, which I guess the radio listeners wouldn't really mind, but you can see me and it would clearly disturb your line of thinking if I...
No, I think
that'd be great.
It would be cool.
I'd love
Come
it.
on, Carl,
like,
do it for the show. Come on, man. You know?
All right.
All right, good.
Get a bottle of vodka down your neck. Let's see what happens. We'll just sit here and watch. You know, you slowly billow out. So that would.
By the way,
cool.
this podcast will be on YouTube, so you'll have your video. So we might have something. You know, we might have your book will sell like crazy. Look.
Okay, good.
Okay, André, you don't have something to drink as well? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, fine.
What's your excuse?
What's your excuse? Is it your head will swollen as well? No.
Yeah, no. Actually, I have quite a bad headache at the moment.
Shit.
You're Australian, isn't that anti-constitutional or anti-Australian?
Yeah, no. I mean, the number one kind of solution for an Australian headache is a few beers, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, some fun. But not tonight.
You'll be excommunicated.
I know. They'll cancel. Well, I'm not Australian actually. I'm a New Zealander, but lived in Australia.
Shit, that's fucking hell. That's like somebody asking me if I'm Australian over here, and I'm like, seriously, But I actually can't determine between an Australian and New Zealand accent.
Me either.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay, so fine. I will drink for all of you because I can see that also Tim has a glass of water. But for me, French, it's fine, And yeah, I'm perfect with that. So let's kick it in. We have on this show. Look how I'm good at presenting this stuff. We have Carl Cederström, associate professor at Stockholm University. Carl, and we have André Spicer, who is professor of Organisational Behaviour at City University London. Right, and you have both written a book which is called The Wellness Syndrome, and if I understood correctly, it's about how concerned you are about this, how wellness has become a sort of an ideology, a moral imperative. I think this is your word. It's a moral obligation to be, kind of well. So here we go. So. Can you kind of pitch us a little bit? What is the main idea of this book? And I'm sure you had this question tons of times, but that's fine. Let's do it all over again.
We don't care about everybody else. We just want our answer.
Okay.
And we want a bloody good one as well. So come on.
Okay, so the very short version is how today both happiness and health have become moral imperatives. In order to be seen as a good moral human being, you should be able to demonstrate that you are taking care of yourself, your body, your health, and also to be happy and to think positively. So all of these things taken together would be a way for you to demonstrate that you are a good person in some ways. And just to give you one kind of anecdotal evidence of this, recently they had a survey in Sweden among CEOs asking whether or not exercise would turn them into better executives, and 92% said yes, that would make them better. And you could see this in all different kinds of areas, how if you do these things correctly, eating correctly, exercising correctly, thinking correctly, you kind of qualify to be a better person. So what we mean by wellness as an ideology is that this is something we take for granted very easily today. And what distinguishes an ideology is that it's something we just accept without asking any critical questions. And the other way of seeing that something is ideological is how other people are being punished. I mean, those people who don't properly live up to these norms and values which are being esteemed today. So with the wellness syndrome, we are talking about people who are being so trapped into this mindset that they start developing a sense of guilt and anxiety because they never properly live up to the demands they set themselves. So the first type of the wellness syndrome, if you like, is on a more subjective personal level. Then on a more serious social political level is that with this kind of wellness syndrome, which draws very heavily on the kind of self-help, positive thinking, mantras and ideas, means that if you find yourself in a vulnerable position in society, you only really have yourself to blame. So the kind of wellness ideology that we see on a more kind of social and political level is one which is very well attuned with neoliberal ideals of today, punishing people who don't master their own destiny, so to speak.
Fucking capitalism again. Shit, you know.
Well, I just want to bring up, I want to go back to the positive thinking, because obviously there's no arm of psychology that supports positive thinking. In fact, just the opposite. Positive psychology is actually against positive thinking. It doesn't work. So I'm curious to know, when you talk, I was reading the thing about the movement in psychology of positive thinking. To my knowledge, and I follow psychology closely, there isn't one. Where is that? Where is this movement?
Well, I mean, if you read Martin Seligman's book, Authentic Happiness,
I've read all of them,
and he's trying very, very hard to show how positive psychology is very different and much more sophisticated than positive thinking. But he still says the same kind of thing, that if you think positively, then good things will happen to you. And so the kind of core message is very, very similar.
It doesn't say that. Have you read Learned Optimism as well? It just doesn't say that. He says the opposite. He's actually anti-positive thinking. And I've read all of his stuff, and I follow him closely. It does not say that if you think positively, good things will happen to you.
Well, he says I'll send you a quote from his book.
That'll be cool.
I'll dig that up later on. But it's basically saying that, if you're not positive, surely people won't treat you in the same, favorable way as they would have done otherwise. So you mean there's a sort of world of difference between positive thinking and positive psychology?
Yeah, because positive psychology is based on optimism, and optimism is the belief that we can change things in the future. Positive thinking is delusional. It's Pollyanna, and it's like, because positive psychology has got the word positive in it, a lot of people, and I don't mean you now, I'm generalising now, think, well, it must be about positive thinking, and it's not. It's actually anti-positive, and there's a lot of research to show that positive thinking doesn't work. In fact, it can be, I'll give you an example. One of my best friends from back in the UK, without doubt, the most positive person that I have ever met in my life. I originally met him, he was my manager when I went into a job about 25 years ago. Everything was positive, bang, 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 bang. And it served him really well until he got a rare strain of Parkinson's disease, where he started to break down, and also memory loss, and he couldn't cope with it, because positive thinking doesn't work then. It's like there's no mechanism, it's a mechanism that works if things are going okay. But for people where something catastrophic happens, you can't positive think your way out of a death sentence. So Seligman's work stems out of the work by Viktor Frankl as well, in terms of with Man's Search for Meaning for Man, in terms of purpose and meaning and optimism, that we can change things. And
well, so, I think the very core of positive psychology, and this is what I would object against it, is that what it really wants to stress is how unimportant circumstances are. I mean, this would be one of the sort of crucial arguments that Martin Seligman would do, or did in the past. I mean, he's been rejecting the whole notion of happiness more recently, wisely, I think. But if you start pushing all circumstances to the side, and you don't want to, see that as part of how we shape our lives, then surely that is a very, very good excuse for pushing this very, very individualistic and punitive agenda that we see a lot of politicians, for instance, driving. And, David Cameron, a good example, a few years back, he was implementing the UK National Wellness Survey. And this was inspired directly by Martin Seligman. And why would someone like David Cameron be so keen to take Martin Seligman's wisdom on happiness and positive psychology? Because it works very, very well within that whole agenda of anyone could be happy if they choose to be. Anyone could choose their life to a very, very large extent. I mean, what they say, Martin Seligman or later on Sonja Lyubomirsky, is that 10% of your life, they say 50% are genetics and 10% are circumstances. And 40%, where the hell did they get those figures from? And what exactly does that mean, apart from, this is what I mean by ideology, which is something they make up in order to make the point that they already want to make, which is that people could just change their life and choose happiness if they want to. And that's a very specific thing for our time, which is very, very different from how we have perceived happiness in the past. And, works very well with the kind of political agenda we have today.
Okay, well, you two guys are both professors. So obviously, you come from a background of academia. So does Sonja Lyubomirsky, and so does Martin Seligman. I've read both of Sonja's books as well. Now, I have no idea where that, the happiness set point figure came from, but I've seen it in numerous places, and I've no idea. It actually intuitively doesn't sound right to me, because I'm always happier when the weather's better. So you think, well, we're just in that 10%. Do you know what I mean? I hate it. It's pissing it down. I'm miserable as sin. So I'm kind of with you that on a sort of like instinctive level, it doesn't sound right to me. But they're both professors, and there must have been some structure to how they got. You said, where did they get it from? I'm aghast to think that they would just pull figures out of the air. I'm guessing you guys wouldn't do that. So I'm curious.
Yeah, you have a dog issue, my friend. Yeah.
Well, I think that's exactly what they've done. I mean, there's a wonderful chapter in Barbara Ehrenreich's book Smile or Die when she meets up with Martin Seligman, and he has this stupid equation about what happiness is, and she pushes him on this and goes, well, what exactly does this mean? And he just starts making strange, weird, excuses and start making things up. Well, I hate to bring the bad news, but having worked in academia for quite a while, no, I'm not very surprised that people make up pie charts and number as they go. I mean, sad as it may sound, you'd get stuff like that and worse in universities.
No shit, man. Fuck, man. Now that's a big surprise now. The numbers are cooked. Here we go,
believe
team.
It, yeah.
Okay.
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. I can't. I definitely can't dispute that point, because I just no idea. I just find it. When I look at people like Seligman and Lyubomirsky and Mikhailich at Cernihai, and the people that basically, and Barbara Fredrickson, who wrote.
Yeah, it's Barbara.
I can't remember what the book's called. It's Barbara. Yeah, Barbara. Yeah. Anyway.
Barbara Ehrenreich?
No, and I thought you go free.
I'm on Barbara Ehrenreich's side against Seligman and Lyubomirsky.
Okay.
Anyway, are we name dropping right now? Just to say who the hell has the big brand?
By the way, I want to bring the Dalai Lama into the conversation.
Shut up, Tim. Shut up. This is what it does. He believes he's the star of the show. Sorry, guys. About that. André, how's your headache, by the way? Is it better or?
It's okay.
It's okay. So I just would like to come back, and just let's breathe, guys. Leonard Cohen is fucking dead, guys. We should. That's fucking sad.
Let's all sit around the fire and play Leonard Cohen records.
We should all sing Hallelujah, by the way.
In some ways, Leonard Cohen is a wonderful antidote to positive thinking, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He shows us perfectly how sort of dwelling in our the darker sides of our life is an antidote, and that's maybe what makes us happy. I guess one of the things, just to kind of continue on your positive thinking stuff, we found that a lot of this, kind of this injunction to be happy, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it actually has this kind of kickback effect now, right? So if you're constantly told, okay, you should be happy, you should be upbeat, it often can kind of have the exact opposite effect. So one study which was done along these lines, you got two groups of people. One was they basically showed two groups of people a film which should make them happy. Apparently, doing ice skating, watching ice skating, someone win an ice skating thing makes
always makes me happy.
Is it naked or something like that?
No. Okay, no. But the difference was the first group they should say something like, being happy is extremely important to your life and blah blah blah. And the second group didn't say anything, right? So then they measured how happy they were before and after the video. The group who'd said the happiness mantra beforehand watched the video, they actually became sadder after the video, right? So the point here is that when you're told to look for happiness in your life and recite the mantras, the things which should normally make you happy, listening to a Leonard Cohen album, for instance, might actually have a kickback kind of effect. And there are many other things like this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Actually, for me, the darkness has so much power. In order to get happy, actually, sometimes you need to go to the darkness. Actually, most of the time. So I totally agree with you. And
well, I mean, just on this point, just the final thing, I guess. Like the other day when Trump was getting elected, I just lay down on the pavement for a few seconds and pretended I was dead, and that made me just the pavement when I was walking to work.
You man,
that made me pretty happy actually. Afterwards, I was feeling pretty good afterwards.
I'm still drinking, till this day. I'm just feeling like beer after beer, just because of that, because of drunk. But that's fine.
Okay.
Stages of grief. At the bargaining level now. I'm bargaining with Republicans online whether if you can do this, it won't be so bad, but it sucks. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I agree with what you say. There's some pressure here that we all have, just to have this. There's this perfect picture, and if I go on my Facebook feed, right, you will have this motivational quote. You'll have my friends saying, okay, I've started yoga or I'm doing my meditation, and there's peer pressure here. There's some pressure here that is very, very much apparent there, that kind of not forces you, but says, look, this is the right path, So, and when I read Tim, for instance, when he starts meditating, because he meditates, I say, shit, I should do that as well. So I have that, But isn't it a good thing, sort of, Because is it like a good thing to do, because there's some positive to do that, no?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that you should eat healthily and do some exercise and maybe, take a bit of time out to meditate or be quiet or whatever to focus your mind. Yeah. We all know this, and it's good for us. But the thing is that it's gone beyond just something you might choose yourself to become kind of this moral injunction that you're no longer seen as a good person if you don't have a kale smoothie and then go out and do some CrossFit afterwards and then post that on Facebook. And by the way, talk about then how you're going to a meditation session after work. So I think that's one of the concerns. The second concern is the fact that it's not just this kind of peer pressure around it. It becomes kind of enforced, right, by either state agencies or workplaces increasingly. Yeah. So, I don't know if you want to say something about that enforcement stuff, Carl.
Well, I mean, we now have in Sweden, for instance, workplaces where you need to exercise in order to keep your job. There's one well-known example of a company where all of the employees need to go to the gym twice a week, and if they don't do that, the HR executive will, they get a list from the gym. If they haven't been there, they are getting warned. If they still don't go to the gym, they have to meet a coach. If they still don't go to the gym, they may eventually be fired. And this is just one of a number of companies who have started doing this in Sweden. And what they do is that they, put exercise as part of the work contract. And this is, I think, a very fascinating trend towards what we in the book call from our work ethic. The previous ethic of working hard and based on putting in the work at work and then you're free afterwards, to what we call like a workout ethic, which is much closer to your body. And again, what we see here are also a new generation of CEOs where exercise and the body and how you take care of yourself is increasingly important. I think one of the more well-known examples is a woman called Harriet Green, who until relatively recently was the CEO of Thomas Cook, and she's the kind of woman who would wake up at 5 a.m, go to the gym, and then, you know, carry on working very hard. And when she was reorganizing Thomas Cook, she wanted to make it fitter, leaner, and better, using the same kind of metaphors she would use in the gym. Also, the people she was surrounding herself with were elite. You know, there was a former elite gymnast. There was another one who was a triathlete. There was another person who ran a marathon, and you could see an increasing number of CEOs running marathons and also putting that on their CV as some kind of evidence of being a better boss or executive. So this is the kind of line we want to draw, that sure, it's great for everyone to exercise, take care of themselves if they do this, you know, out of themselves or being inspired by others, whatever it may be. Fine, that's good. But the problem now is that we come to a point where we start to define people as good or bad on the basis of, you know, whether or not they take care of their bodies. And I think that's a very dangerous trend.
I guess the other thing is that increasingly social rights are sort of distributed on the basis of whether you live up to your this wellness ethic or not. So there was a case recently where some issues around health were being distributed on the basis of, are you fit? You know, if you're overweight, you're not going to get this procedure, right? And you can imagine that being extended into all sorts of things like, payment for out of work benefits. You know, are you thinking positively? If you are, fine. If not, go see a coach. If you continue to be negative, guess what? It's getting cut off. You know. So,
well, the other example there, of course, is David Cameron a couple of years ago suggesting that obese people who were living off benefits would lose their benefits unless they started to go to the gym. So you could see how these sort of social and political issues are being confused with very kind of individualistic lifestyle issues.
Was that an idea that he put forth, or was it actually? It was an
idea he put forward, and
luckily
it didn't go further than that, but still enough to, you know, be recorded and for people to read.
I just want to go back to something you're talking about it happening. I wrote a post probably a year or two ago now about gratitude. You know, I get sick to death of self-help saying you've got to be gratitude for stuff. That if you've got a shit job, you shouldn't have to be grateful for it. It's a shit job. Yes, be grateful you're alive and be grateful it's a nice day or whatever. But you know, I'm you know, the whole gratitude. Movement, definitely with you on that. It's just gone so too far in terms of like you've got to be grateful for everything. Well, it just then we start to create this cognitive dissonance, and people start to feel guilty for not feeling great. And I think I'm warming to what you're saying.
I think that's a crucial crucial point, because being positive and enthusiastic and all of those things, there's nothing wrong about that. But if you're in a shit situation, that's not really what you want. I mean, I've got numerous of rather horrific examples. One is Paul Ryan a few years ago suggesting that poor people, in order to combat poverty, in order to get themselves out of poverty, should meet a life coach.
One second.
Yeah.
1 second. Be careful, very, very careful what you said. You know that Tim is a life coach over there, you know.
I've been for 11 years. I've got no satisfied clients. But,
okay, that's good.
It sounds like you're doing a perfect job.
So this will be interesting. I want to see. Okay, before going into the life coach thing, because I could see that, you know, taking some while. I just wanted to say something more immediately to, you know, if you have a shit job, you have a shit job. So authentic happiness, you know, the term of Martin Seligman, that is also the term you find at Pret a Manger. So people who work at Pret a Manger, you know, the place where you buy sandwiches
They
in the
make
UK.
the best sandwiches in the world.
And as far as the salaries go, it's not the salaries you find at Google or Goldman Sachs. And still, the people who work there have an obligation not just to look happy, but to be authentic. So the happiness that they need to emit and exude to customers should be the real stuff, the real authentic happiness. So I think what we need to be careful about when we endorse the authentic happiness and all the rest of it is how it very easily slip into places where it really doesn't belong. So I just wanted to say that to reinforce your point about if you work at a shit job, it's a shit job. And when you then need to pretend not just to be happy, but authentically happiness, that's
I agree
some
with
kind
that.
of violation.
Yeah, because also you wouldn't take action. At the end of the day, if you're in a shit, you know, you've got, you know, sometimes it's you want to know this stuff. You know, if you're like you've got a pain in your chest or whatever, it's like, well, you know, I feel happy. I'm not going to do anything about it. You want to act on that and get to a fucking doctor's. You know, sorry, I beg your pardon, we're gone.
No, you're absolutely right. And then I think one of the central problems with this sort of this over focus on happiness is that it writes out the whole other range of human emotions, right? So it makes people feel guilty if they're sad or angry or you know, whatever, indifferent, you know, all this range of human emotions which are vital for different things. And in fact, actually, some of these things make you better at your job. So there was one study which I think it was looking at air traffic controllers. You don't want a happy air traffic controller because
It'll be okay. I can feel it. Yeah.
I know. You want someone who's a bit anxious, basically.
But I mean, there could be something very tyrannical in forcing people to be positive or even optimistic in some very specific situation. There was one study done in the US a few years ago with coaches, not life coaches, job coaches, meeting with unemployed people.
Okay.
And these unemployed people were prohibited from using the word unemployment because, according to these coaches, it would betray a negative attitude. And they were also encouraged to stop reading the news or watching the news on television. And to me, this is very, very scary because, you know, the reason why you don't get a job could be because there are no jobs, you know, just as a thought experiment.
You're right.
And if you're in a situation like that where, you know, there's hardly any hope, then being forced to think positively, stop thinking about what goes on outside in the world, stop reading the newspapers, and only focus on yourself. The result that will have, quite surely, is a very immediate sense of self-hatred. Because if the dogma is that you're in this position because you put yourself in that position, you know, you have power, or at least 40% power of your own life, then surely you could get yourself out of this situation. And I think that kind of mindset is very, very dangerous. I mean, in Sweden, the country most people think of as this kind of egalitarian socialist utopia, which is just not true. It's the country of all the OECD countries where the income inequality has grown most rapidly in the last 20 years. And in the last 5 years or so, there's been 5 billion Swedish kronor. So that would be, you know, 700 million US dollars spent on private companies offering coaches to unemployed people. And many of these unemployed people have been unemployed for years and years. And it's just it's just a form of humiliation when they get to meet a coach to teach them to. So, for instance, they have this called the bragging round. And a friend of mine did a study on the job centers in Sweden where these long-term, desperate, unemployed people were sitting in a ring in a basement, and they all had to brag about themselves and say how good they were. And the situation that was created there was the way my friend described it, one of the most sort of nightmarish, you know, scenes you could possibly imagine.
It's almost like when you have these things for middle management where you take them out and they should develop, you know, develop their artistic skills in 5 days, and then they make some really crappy painting, and everyone laughs. It's there to humiliate rather than to.
And to push this point about the life coaches, Tim, I mean, my mom is a coach, so maybe that is why I have
That's
this
it.
thing against. No, she's not. She's well. Anyway,
maybe Carl, you should say something about you getting coached by your mom recently.
I should.
Well, that's highly unprofessional of us.
No, the example I wanted to say was how with Paul Ryan, when he was coming up with an idea of how to.
Let me just back up for anybody listening. Are you talking about the Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House in the US?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Just in case everybody's listening in the UK, they don't know who he is.
Sorry.
He's the Speaker of the House.
Okay, just 1 second, because we are very professional on this show, as you see. But somebody is rubbing his microphone for I can hear someone rubbing his microphone. Is it?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is it you?
André. You see, he sit up there like he's been pointed out by a teacher.
You're rubbing your microphone.
I haven't got a microphone to rub.
Oh shit!
It's papers underneath your microphone. Have you got any papers?
Okay. Yeah, I'll stop it.
Stop it.
No, it's okay.
Happy.
It's okay, André. It's okay. Don't worry about that. I was just okay, sorry, Cal.
But the point with the hope and optimism we put into life coaches is rather extreme, and I would say at times dangerous. And the example I would like to give to push that point is Paul Ryan suggesting that in order to combat poverty, all poor people should have the opportunity to meet a life coach, and together with the life coach, develop a so-called opportunity plan. And maybe, it'd be nice to meet a life coach. That's not the problem. But the problem is that a life coach quite easily and often works as a suitable excuse to push attention away from very real, material, social and political conditions and structures, and putting back all the emphasis on the individual. And, if you're born into a particular place with the wrong mom and dad, your chances are going to be very, very different from being born into a more privileged position. And a life coach can't really change that.
Yeah, I just can tell you one quick story. I want to back up. 1999, so I'm working for a company in Birmingham in the UK, and our biggest client was John Deere. I'm sure you're familiar with John Deere farm machinery, and we had to go their headquarters in Europe. Well, there were two actually. One in Mannheim in Germany, but other one was in Belgium. And I had to go over to the Belgian plant to have a couple of meetings and what have you. And at lunchtime, they took us into the cafe, and we walked down the line of all this food and what have you. And at the end, and I swear to God this is true, they got beer on tap that you could have while you're at work at lunchtime. No fucking way does that exist anymore. I mean, I was just gobsmacked. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting story, because you're talking about how things have moved and how quickly they've moved. So that was 17 years ago. I mean, that now would be something. Would be they're more likely to have a treadmill at the end of the food line, whatever. Exactly. Or somebody telling you you're going to have to put that back. You've got too many fries.
Exactly.
So I'm with you. Okay, I want to come back to the life coach thing, because the problem with the life coaching industry is it's unregulated. And because of that, there are a lot of bad life coaches out there. And there's a lot of life coaches doing different things that isn't necessarily true life coaching. So, for me, and I've done this full time for 11 years, it's not about telling people what to do. It's not about exposing what's wrong with their life or whatever. It's about trying to understand them and ask them questions to help them think differently. I don't go in with a preset agenda. People will phone me up and say, well, what we're going to do in all the sessions. I'm like, I've no idea. And until I start working with you, we'll start each session. And good coaching is reactive. It's not proactive. It's not you planning. And I train coaches. If you start planning sessions out as what you're going to do with a coach, you've completely lost the point of what it is we're supposed to do. All we're supposed to do is to highlight people's blind spots by asking them questions that shift their thinking, and then just letting them come up to the decisions. So I think, I understand what you're saying, and I think the thing is, there are coaches out there doing the kind of thing you're talking about.
No. I mean, I agree with that, Tim. I mean, and also the concern here is not a concern with coaches as such, as much as it is a concern with a society that more and more forget to talk seriously about issues such as class, for instance, or issues such as why some people, generation after generation, end up in the same kind of space and place.
Because they're not thinking positively.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
Shut up, Tim. Shut up.
It's like people in Chad and like Sierra Leone, they're just not thinking positively. No, I get that.
They need to have a mass drop of like the American Air Force flies in and has a big drop of positive thinking books.
Yeah, the law of attraction would be better.
That's right.
But there's a political because it keeps coming to that. There's a political message behind what you're saying, basically, right? It's because you're saying that it's no more the individual. Well, because of this wellness movement, it's up to the individual to basically find a solution, right? And for you, it says, well, look, we are hiding something here. We are playing. Well, I don't know how, but there's something which is highly political with what you're saying. Am I wrong, or is it?
No, I think that's right.
Yeah. So, what is the solution? What are you suggesting then? In terms of.
Well, it's a diagnosis of ideology, not a prescription of how to move forward. I mean, in that sense, I mean, I think what the book is critiquing a culture, a society, an ideology, but it doesn't offer an immediate remedy for that. What the book does, however, is trying to put its finger on a sensation and a feeling that I think a lot of people do have, a slight worry that, when they come to the office and they're forced on a rainy day to go into the forest and do some very condescending team building exercise. What we hope, quite humbly, that the book could do is to embolden people to say no, or just to walk out of there, or quit a job, or whatever it may be. And also, it's worth pointing out that our book is talking quite a lot about work and how these things are being sort of integrated into various work cultures, integrated into a broader idea of what it means to be employable and all the rest of it. So that is really what we would hope that people could take from this book.
He's bursting to ask something. Let him in.
No, because it remembers, because I worked in corporate for 14 years and I work in this higher level corporation where we had the gym, where we had a cook and a chef and all this stuff, and at the end of the day, I experienced a burnout, with this culture, of excellence and pushing people to this, so there's something, when the company tries to help you a little bit, with, I don't know, stress relief programs or mindfulness or, things like that. Don't you think that it's also can be a good thing as well for this, can help the employees, the workers to feel a little bit better,
Sure. I mean, I remember having kind of a sort of insight once. I was sitting on a panel and there was a Buddhist monk, and then there was an extremely depressed looking woman from a government department, and then there was me. And this extremely depressed looking woman from the government department, had been on a long-term stress leave, and then she'd come back, and her main kind of way of dealing with this and helping other people was to introduce a mindfulness thing on Wednesday night, which is good, which, there's some effect. But the result was that all of these people who were, incredibly insecure in their work, incredibly stressed out, circulating between things, responding to government pressure, they then had to stay an hour longer after work to do their mindfulness thing. And you get this ridiculous image of these poor civil servants sitting around in their suit meditating, where some of them are probably thinking they'd rather be at the pub or whatever. But the point here is that they're having this experience of focus and flow, which previously people used to have when they were doing their work, right? If you think about the time you have that experience of flow is when you're deeply immersed in a work task. Yeah. And now you switch it over to this meditation kind of thing. So we seem to have this mindfulness thing that you might have that experience of immersion and flow. I know mindfulness is more than that, but part of it is that immersion and flow, which you previously would have during your workday. If you think about how we organize work now, it's like you're in this pointless meeting and then you're cutting into this and that, and you don't have any sense of progress during the day, any sense of actually being immersed in a task. And research, there was a big research study done by some people at Harvard Business School recently where they showed that gave people diaries and they said when was a good day and when was a bad day at work. And they found the only consistent thing of when people said there was a good day at work is when they felt that they had a significant chunk of time to just focus on a task and get something done. They made progress on it. And that's all they looked for. Now we seem to design the workplace in such a way where we kind of constantly circulate around. So I guess I'm saying is that sometimes it's actually about the design of work itself, which could potentially make people a little bit less stressed out rather than adding this additional thing on after work, which extends the workday, but is kind of like a Band-Aid plaster to deal with a shotgun wound in some cases.
Yeah. I hear you. And sometimes, I feel that, is it only the task? Because more and more now we talk about having meaningful work, something like that. You find your values, it match the company's values, and what you do has a sense, there's a meaning, and if you do a task which doesn't have...
Does that sound again?
Oh, I think it's André.
Yeah.
You try to shut me down again.
Yes.
But, so I was looking.
Yeah, leave them there. Leave them there for the rest of the podcast.
Don't touch your value.
Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
So I forget the question now. Sorry.
That's it wasn't. I want to piggyback on that because you mentioned meaningful work, and when the studies that I've seen on in the workplace, what do people want most? And the top two things are pretty much always. And you may be able to tell me I'm wrong here, but to do meaningful work and to feel like you want it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just wondered, and I'm sort of, and money never comes in the top two. I think when it comes to the interview, people are, interested in the money. And I took a job on once. I was about to leave sales, and I went for an interview just for the hell of it. And I was just about to say, no, I don't want the job. And they said, of course, we'll give you a £15,000 golden hello. And I was like, fuck, yes, I want this job. I actually bought a BMW on the way home. I swear to God, I stopped in Derby and bought a BMW.
You're such a materialist fuck.
And then about 3 months later, I was visible as sin. But what I'm getting at with the feeling wanted thing, and I'm wondering if I'm not making your case for you, but if when we tell people, oh, you've got to get fit, you've got to do this or whatever, that actually chips away at feeling wanted, because it's like, it's not unconditional love. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, we want you, but we only want you this way if you can do this or whatever. I've just put that out of my ass, and it may not make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So it becomes a form.
You adults want to talk together. That's fine.
Yeah. So it becomes a form of discrimination or exclusion. Yeah.
I read something or I heard something about a university or more than one university having in something in there where people had to sign they were drug and alcohol free, and that just stunned me. Is that legal in the US to do something like that?
Yeah, so the idea is that if you want to join one of these so-called wellness communities, so it's basically like a student residence, which has...
University. Sorry, I thought it was, I beg your pardon, I read it down as some US universities.
It's not the whole of the university. So they have these wellness contracts, and if you want to be part of it, university.
One of the things we talk about in the book is the emergence of, well, we all know about the wearable technologies that people like to use in order to keep track on how much they move and how they sleep. And then, you could use apps and all the rest to, record what you eat. And this is something that workplaces have started to use. And but quite recently, the first US university, I think it's a Christian university, a private one, have now made them compulsory to wear these wearable technologies.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit!
So that happened earlier this year.
I think it might be Oral Roberts University. I'm not completely sure on that, but I think they give a wearable to every single undergraduate, and then they have to wear them.
Well, I saw your interview on the Australian morning news program, and it started. You got me thinking about, because I have a Fitbit, and I haven't it for 3 months. And the reason why I stopped wearing it was because I had these friends who got Fitbits, like my niece who's super fit, and her husband who's like in the special forces as a major, and I was just like humiliated every night. It's like, I've walked 10,000 steps now. They've walked 15 miles with a full rucksack. It's just like, and I just stopped wearing it because of that. It's just like, this has become. I'm stressing myself by wearing this. I get to like 7 o'clock, I'd be wandering around the living room. Just like trying to get my steps up, because otherwise I was being mocked by my own niece.
That's right. That's the point of your book, by the way. You just explained the point of their books, by the way, Tim. So thank you for confirming exactly what they're saying. By the way, there's something, because just after the book, you started to try yourself all these things that you were writing. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Did you? So, and where are you on your journey, actually, of trying all this mindfulness and, eating well and things like that? Can you just give us a little bit of a summary where you are?
You go, André.
You look very tired, Carl. What's happening?
No, I'm fine.
By the way, just one of that. I think we
Carl's
beat
the
you.
most chilled person we've ever had on this podcast.
I think
2 years, you're the most relaxed, laid-back person we've ever had.
No, 1 second, I need just to say something, because France, I think, beaten Sweden at the moment on soccer. That's it. I just wanted to say something. That's
okay.
Go
on. So we're just about at the end of it. We spent the whole year doing this, pretty much full time, trying to improve ourselves. So we tried everything from productivity hacks to ways to improve your body, to mind improvement techniques, spirituality, relationship. Carl and I had couples counseling together at some point. I don't know whether it solved anything, but
you look like angry to each other. I'm not sure that it worked.
Yeah. Well. And what else do we do? Spirituality, sex, how to relax.
Sex. You can't just throw the word sex out there and just like move on. Oh, we did sex. People go, what? Hang on, fucking back up. What
sex
does that mean? Sex what? Yeah, I tried.
I wasn't. I know. I mean, it's just too disturbing. It's a topic which one wants to wait. So one thing which I did during that month was to visit one of these tantric sex kind of workshops and find out about how to increase my inner sexual potency. I also danced around naked campfires with 70 other men naked, singing Native American Indian songs. That's just some.
Did you do ayahuasca? Did you do ayahuasca?
No. But that's maybe might come up.
We have somebody on this podcast who's done that twice. Who's really
all right. Okay.
6 times, but that's okay.
6 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So what else have we done? And then we tried to make some, maximize money making, creativity. I became a stand-up comic for a month. Then we tried to be good. We tried to be good for a month. That was pretty hard.
That worked.
That threw me into a 2-week depression.
And currently we're trying to maximize our, what is it? Sort of
attention now.
Yeah, you can't remember what it is. That's not good, is it? What is it? I forgot what the question was now. Oh yeah, attention. Yeah.
Well, today, yeah.
No, but we have. I mean, just to put the project into context, when we published the wellness syndrome, and we are, as if you we were critical of all of these things, whether it's mindfulness or various forms of exercise, and then people started to ask, but have you ever tried these things for yourself? And the honest response was no. I mean, I've never been to a gym in my entire life, and I have never tried mindfulness. I've never been on a diet. I never tried any kind of productivity hacks. I've done none of these things. I've done nothing by way of trying to improve my sex skills or whatever. So the plan was to try to live a year in this spirit of optimization. And the way we wanted to choose topics or areas were by imagining that you would walk into an airport magazine shop and just imagine what kind of magazines you would find there. So you would find magazines who would tell you how to get a better body, magazines to tell you how to boost your brain, how to get better relationships, how to become more productive, be more spiritual, be better at sex, to make money, become more creative. So we're just thinking about sort of the main areas that you'd find today that we are more or less expected to try and optimize, and then do everything we possibly could using all forms of methods and technologies and try to optimize this area. Well, optimize is really the wrong word. It's more submitting ourselves to the fantasy of optimization. That's really what we're doing. So the fantasy, and there's so many fantasies out there about how to optimize yourself, and we just wanted to try them out, and that is what we've done. And the result has been very mixed and unexpected, and it's a strange, because on the one hand it's kind of a self-actualization project, but in other words it's really the most masochistic thing I've done in my entire life. And I think if there are reasons why we now look tired and depressed, I think the main reason is that we both just wish for this year to be over, and we could start living. I came back. Yesterday I spent 25,000 Swedish. So what's that? That's like more than $3,000 on plastic surgery. Because
I thought
fuck, you really did
you were
that.
joking about that. You're being
no,
serious.
it's true. It's true. I did my chin here. I can't, and that's why I can't drink alcohol, because I think it's called Restylane that they've sort of been injecting here.
Jesus Christ, you did that for the purpose of
Holy
your...
shit! That is taking science to a whole new level.
Jesus
Yeah. So this is.
I'm going to shove a hamster up my arse later on. Just try that out, just for science. Yeah.
Well, we've done things which aren't sort of that far away. Well, not hamsters.
Just small furry barnyard animals mainly. Yeah,
No, but it was a really, really weird thing, because I went to this place and first had a consultation, and there's a woman with very perfect skin and completely ageless in a white coat, and then she's asking me if I know anything about this, and I said no, not anything. So I'm probably the first person who showed up in the clinic not knowing the difference between a filler and a Botox. And she started describing the difference, but as soon as she started to use anything resembling a scientific language, I just switch off. And then I asked her, I said, I want to look like Justin Bieber. And we looked. We looked at the mirror, and she said, "Well, maybe we could try to do something with your cheekbones, or maybe we could do something with your chin."
Did you video this? You didn't have like a hidden camera, did you? That would be fantastic.
Actually, there was someone filming that, so this was being recorded, and then she said, "Well, maybe we could do your chin. That's a pretty big thing." And so then she was putting some gel on my chin. At this point, I was getting really nervous. I was just staring into the ceiling, and she was telling me how many milliliters she was putting in. She was going to put in, or whatever this thing was called. But I was completely sort of switched off at this moment. And then she started to inject, and I don't know, maybe 20 sort of needle. She put a needle in and injected this gel, and when that was done, she started to massage it. So you see, I think I got a pretty nice chin line now.
You're so
with nothing really to compare it with, so it's a bit
it is actually
André.
different. It's more sort of masculine.
Yeah,
definitely
like that.
Yeah. And as we know from, scientific studies, a more masculine chin suggests higher levels of testosterone, which gives Carl an evolutionary competitive advantage now.
That's exactly that. There's something so attracting to Carl. I was wondering. I was just like, my God, he's so sexy.
I've got a down here. I'll tell you.
It's his
I'm not gay, but I'm just like fucking hell. I'm not gay, bad term for that.
Awesome. That's an awesome story, actually.
I really never expected this 50 minutes ago for this to take this conversation to take this direction.
No, but I think this example is good on how we are approaching this thing, or at least how I'm approaching it. That whatever the task is for the new month, it's to try and find the kind of expert advice. And again, we live in a society of experts. Life coaches would be one kind of expert, an expert on.
No, we're not life coaches.
Anyway,
any life coaches.
Anyway. So meeting experts. So for instance, when we had a body month, I met up with personal trainers who were trying to train me for a month, or just finding those people who are good at things. I mean, the most impressive. I mean, the thing I'm most proud of in terms of feats is probably that I was able to memorize 1,000 digits of pi.
Oh, that's impressive.
Well, it's impressive if I tell you, but if you talk to the sort of real memorization champions, they're not that impressed. But it took a long time, and it was also a way of demonstrating to myself the meaningfulness of this project.
I know it to 8. I think 3.1415925.
Okay.
That's 8. That's 8. That's pretty fucking good. Come on.
By the way,
better than 22/7, which is so lame.
Okay.
What?
You would imagine that the team has an IQ of 1 and 150, but that's another topic.
Anyway,
but,
let's not talk about that. I have to go. It sounds terrible on a podcast, but because we started, I've got to pick my wife up.
But to me, I had a question actually. So, is there anything that actually you retain and you enjoy, and you feel different from everything that you had, from everything that you experienced?
Well, I'm going to keep this thing under my skin, that's for sure.
Not much choice. You're going to squeeze it out like a zit.
you still have 1 month. Can I challenge you guys? Can I challenge you to do one thing? Can you have one session with Tim?
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, that would be
perfect.
So what we're going to do next month is, and because the one thing we haven't asked this year is the purpose of this project. We never talked about the meaning.
Here we go.
Or the aim. So when people ask, why did you do that thing to yourself during the sex month? You just go, I don't know. What was the purpose? What did you try and achieve? No idea. So we had to give one of these sort of TEDx talks earlier this year about the project, and they were getting more and more frustrated. And they said, well, clearly you must have learned something. And André said, yeah, maybe we learned this, maybe we learned that. And I just go, no, I can't think of anything we've learned. But surely there's going to be a purpose. There's going to be an aim to this project.
Yeah, surely it must be something, because with your sexy chin, at least, you'll be good in front of the ladies. That's a good thing, no? Can you have that on your TEDx, No?
So maybe that is the meaning of this whole project, that we want to look better for women.
Get more tail.
Anyway.
But we don't even go out to nightclubs, so...
Fuck's sake, guys. We're trying to help you. Well, and we're not supposed to give advice, by the way, but that's okay.
No, I'd love to do that. The thing is with coaching is, it's a process that unravels. That sounds like I unravel on client. It kind of like develops as you move on. But there's definitely there's something I could take out in isolation that I do with clients that I think we could try, and then you can mock me mercilessly next month.
No, the thing is that we take all of the people we speak with very seriously, and we do what they tell us, generally speaking.
Yeah, no, I'll do that with one or both. The only thing I wouldn't do is I wouldn't do it with both of you at the same time. Just two.
Sure.
Just about core values and what have you. So, and it's possibly the most unscientific work I do in terms of there is no real. Well, I talked to you about this as we did.
Okay. Sure.
You may be confident knowing that I don't think many people would consider our project very scientific either.
There you go.
Good. So
Respect.
cool. So Tim, you'll get new clients over there. By the way, it charged like crazy.
Sure
That's okay. It's very expensive, but you will do this for free for sure, Tim. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
sure. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe you can do some ayahuasca session as well. Just to do that. Yeah. Do some drugs. Drugs are very good, guys. Just
drugs
try
are
that.
great.
Yeah,
I mean, drugs are fantastic. Have you done that? Have you done like a couple of grams of coke on a Wednesday night?
We haven't done that, but I would want to ask you, Olivier, because we were thinking if we should try ayahuasca as a way of trying to find a meaning of this project. Do you think ayahuasca would be helping us to find the purpose of why we've done this for a year?
No, you'll throw up like crazy, and you'll cry, and you'll see.
You'll see big frogs and stuff, shit like that. Take some acid. You don't have to fly to Brazil to do it.
We can go to Holland actually to do these things. So I would actually, if there is something in you that says, yeah, let's try that, try it. But I doubt that you'll find the reason why you do that. I think you'll see yourself, or you'll do whatever. You'll cry a lot and you'll throw up a lot. That's for sure, because this is disgusting. But for the rest,
There's a book called The Harvard Social Club.
No, you mentioned it four times.
Shut up. But I think you should go and read it, because it's Ram Dass and Timothy Leary's in it as well. And they took a lot of mushrooms and actually flew down to Mexico to take mushrooms, because they thought they genuinely thought that they were talking to God. So just do that. But I'm going to close things down. First, I said, Carl, the way you took my vicious attack at the beginning in such a phlegmatic and laid back and decent way, good for you, man. I half expected you. I'd have got up and walked out on me. So thanks. You've both been a lot of fun, actually. I've enjoyed it, and I kind of wasn't looking forward to it, I'll be honest. But I think you've explained your position really well, and I'm going to check the book out. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys. And if
and email me, I'll get you've got my email address now. And I'd love to values with you. Maybe we can record one of them and stick it out there on the Real Voices. And
we can send you the sex chapter, and you can read what you did.
You should have done here. At least we'll have some interesting
all right.
stuff.
I think we'll call it a day now. There, yeah. All right,
guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.